I have a quite long presentation, but I'm not trying to bore you too much, because what I'm saying here has been said many times, and I have to really also, I was very glad to hear the Maltese presentation, which said everything. This is what we have to do. We have to interconnect, we have to organize our data. So I am a very lucky guy, because in Luxembourg, way before I was born, the Government IT Center was created in '74, and it consolidated already then a lot of the informations we have today. And that consolidation was a little bit broken up over the time, and now we are reconsolidating heavily. So what this tradition is a benefit for us, because we in our house have most of the data we have to interconnect. We have to put the semantic on and so on and so on. So we have already a high level of daily use and reuse of many of the different data. So this is why, and I was very happy about it, because usually Luxembourg is not that good in those statistics. In the NIF and the EAF alignment, we did quite well, but we did not do perfect. There's a lot of room of improvement. So what can we do in order to evangelize our administrations, our ministers, our people working in Luxembourg government, in order to put them on the data track, is, yeah, we have to have a formal NIF. Yes, we have to create paper in order to be digital. We have to have a NIF, and I was thinking I could launch the NIF from Luxembourg today, but that was not feasible due to timing. But we will launch it before the summer, I will have to say. And I'm looking here at Gerard. We will launch the NIF before the summer in the Board of Ministers, and have, I'm looking at some other guy who is also part of it. And we will then be able to formalize this integration, which since the 70s we have already up and running. So, but if you have a national interoperability framework, that's nice, that's cool, everybody needs to have it. A lot of people have it, we are not the best in class there. But what can you integrate when you don't know what your data is? So we have to talk about a corporate information management system. And there, my dear friend and former director at Digit, Dick Landisi, he helped us a lot by sharing his corporate information management framework. I will come back to that. You will find that on JoinUp. It's an excellent piece of work. And then, yes, then you know how you do it, you know what you do, but with what? The with what is the base registers. This is what we have to tackle. The Maltese said it perfectly. We have to identify the base register in every single country, because tomorrow a company can go from Luxembourg to Germany and go to Portugal. They have to do customs, they have to do social security and what else. And they don't have to speak all those languages and all to fill in all those registers 120 times. So the NIF. What do we expect from the NIF? We expect a stronger governance. We expect that people can work together in order to find the data they have to interconnect. And why do we do it? We do it for our citizens and for our enterprises. So we focused here on the information management principles. Administrative simplification, effectiveness, user centricity, inclusion, and so on is very, very important. These are the 11 principles of a national interoperability framework. We all should have them. We have them. Most of you who don't have a formal NIF have those principles. We have to put them on paper so that people believe us. So this is what we have to do. So openness. The Maltese said it also, so it's all been said. We have to share that data. In Luxembourg, we have a clear strategy there. My first time I was in the Board of Ministers meeting. This is for two initiatives. It was e-administration and open data. So we were able to explain that to all the ministers, that this is the way we would have to go. Then transparency, yes. When we work with the data, and I am sometimes jealous about, no, a lot of times jealous about Estonia, but sometimes I am jealous about Estonia because they have a data usage culture with their citizens, which is far more open and far more accepted than we have it in Luxembourg. So we have to work on the transparency part so that we achieve the trust in our citizens that we can use their data and that we don't want to sell everything to the corporations or that we want to use it for secret service. Our secret service, it is like our armies, but our embassies, they are great. Our digital embassy, they are really good. Okay. So on the transparency, what we did is we copied a lot from Estonia when we were there in 2012 or something. I was there with Tavi, and we saw their dashboard. Janek showed it. We saw their dashboard, and we copied the exact sources of their dashboard, and we still haven't implemented it totally in Luxembourg, but we are getting there. So this transparency is important. Reusability is key, because nothing is more cumbersome than to redeliver to the same government the same information 120 times. I'm now working on a project for the Ministry of Housing, and they ask banks for loans, and they ask the notaries, and they ask 120 different papers, and this could easily be fed by one application. This is the way we have to go. So reusability, and then that information which is crystallized out of what we use every day to do our administrative work, we have to share it for the benefits of the public outside. So portability, yes, we have to have API. API catalog has to be on the track. We are building an API infrastructure. No, we are building it. Yes, we are reflecting on it to have an open API infrastructure. I was again jealous when I saw Janek's book. We don't have it yet, but we are going to get there. So security, yes, security. You have to have security. And believe me or believe me not, security is sometimes a burden. It is challenging. Our PKI systems, our identity card, which is card-based, has an RFID-based certificates on it. It is not used a lot. Why? Because there are no lectors. Why? Because in Luxembourg, like every single Luxembourger has at least 5 iPhones. So iPhone is not opening the RFID standard, so this is a problem. Card-based security is a problem, but we are moving fast into smart trust infrastructures. And then in Luxembourg, EIDAS, because Luxembourg is so small, it's like Malta a little bit. It is so small that without EIDAS, we will be a digital island tomorrow, or yesterday. So we have to connect to EIDAS for the authentication, and we will offer it free to the public sector and to the private sector, so that they can use the European Federation of the Identities. I don't go on every side because you can read yourself, so just, okay. And then, yes, in Luxembourg, our single window is already in German, in French, and the industry part, the commercial part for the enterprise is in English. And we will now translate also our single window with all administrative procedures totally in English, because this is key. We have to be able to speak those languages. But when we speak languages, we will never speak it, translate it to Polish, but I had a tweet now. I had a response to one of my tweets in Polish, and I just clicked see the translations, and I could read Polish. It was beautiful. But this is what semantic interoperability is doing. So our systems have to understand the language without knowing the language. So, yeah, the preservation of information. If, as government IT center, if we don't bother about digital archiving, we are dead. So this is a very big project in Luxembourg, so that we can guarantee our legal archive digitally. And I am glad also to work with Estonia, because what will happen, don't tell anybody, next week, what will happen next week, this is going to be history where data can be stored of one country in another country. And so archiving is a big topic, and this legal archiving, so to be sure that you can really cut the paper, drop the paper, shred it and everything. This is what we have done. We have to build the caverns for all our administrations, and this should be on every single agenda of all governments in Europe, because we will lose our legacy if we don't do that. So, corporate information management framework, I will go very quickly. I forgot to put the join-up reference. Oh, there are kinds, 5 minutes. Good. I forgot to put the join-up references, so look it up on join-up, you will find it. What is it? It is very easy. It starts with information as an asset. We have to generate, manage, share, protect, and preserve that information. It is the same principles we all do every day, every single day. But it is nicely presented, it is well documented. You can give it to somebody who has never read something about data, and he will understand how he should govern his data. So read this. Base registers are the key. This is a heavy slide, but our physical persons register was the first register in 2013 and then 15, 16, which was really built in a way how it should be, so that it is based on reuse. Every administration having to enter something about a civil person in Luxembourg can directly do it in that one register. So there should be no copy of an address, of a name, or of anything which is in there. If a citizen has his information correct in there, there's no administration is permitted to ask that information to the citizens. So this should be how it should be. For the business registers, this is the first one where we have we are rebuilding it now. The analysis is going on, and we will include the new principles of the NIF, of course, but we will build it with the core vocabulary that is given by the European Commission services, so that we are ready for tomorrow. Every new application should build on the common blocks. So that's it. And I have 3 minutes. Okay, so I'm good in timing. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Gilles. Do we have some questions? Yes, please.
Just with loud voice.
Cecile, maybe just... okay, there's another question. Okay, Cecile, please go.
So, as you were copying a bit Estonia, also, do you have an initiative? Do you have an initiative, or do you already have a legislation about information, like Estonia has a public act?
Yes, yes and no. We are not copying. We are reusing what Estonia did before. I will show that tomorrow. Because we should never reinvent the wheel. Because I don't want to solve a problem which has been solved otherwise. Our open data portal, for example, is on GitHub. We use the French portal. It's the same portal. We made a different picture on it. So legislation. No, we are doing with the once only legislation. I have sent them the very good Flanders, Belgium federal legislations. We used it internally, but I did not manage to have it in the parliament. But I have access to all the documents who go to the Board of Ministers, so I can check if some pieces of information are well used, and I recently refused to build an application in order to avoid the once only principle and stick to paper. This was in, I will not say where, but there was one administration who wanted an application to simplify their paper trail. I refused to do it. So now we will get a web service and we can directly access that register. It is hard, and this is why I envy sometimes Estonian, because everybody has understood there that that's the only way it goes. Thank you.
We had one more question, I believe. Yeah.
It was the same than the one of Cecile, so thank you.
All right.
But I have another one regarding the digital pole in Luxembourg.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. Is it? How do you see digital pole as a key player for facilitating the interoperability in Europe?
Yeah, wow. Like in, this is an important subject, so we have to put up the volume. Like in every other project, there are different speeds. Why did we do our single window? This is a big interoperability framework in order to touch different statuses of digitalizations. And the digital pool will help us to work as a country, Luxembourg. I'm very proud they come to Luxembourg, very happy about that. And they will allow us to work with different countries together in order to have a small critical mass to build the next steps. For example, we have a very nice initiative on infrachain, and we are now already talking with the digital pole people in order to see who else is interested, and maybe Estonia, I want to speak to Sim tomorrow about that, and who else is interested in that, and go on from there, because from there, once we get 2, 3, 5, 4, 6 countries working on it, from there we go on. This is what we do on customs. The UCC every country has to implement a new customs code. So why should every country 27 times do it differently? This is BS in English. So we should really do it together, and I hope the digital pole will help us facilitate to do it together. Thank you.